From Minneapolis, Minnesota, welcome to Playwright Center's Theater Begins Here.
Great. Awesome.
We're all recording and ready to go.
Sweet. We're ready to go.
If I look at y'all, that means I answered the question first.
All right.
Well, welcome to Theater Begins Here, you four.
Thanks for having us.
And for our listeners, we are joined today by our four apprentices. So I will just say them in the order that I see them. Maria, Max, Liv, and Dorothy. And you'll be able to read more about them in their bios. We'll have links for those as well. But these four spend a year with us that started in August. And what a year it has been. We opened a new building at Playwright Center. We moved into St. Paul. So they're the inaugural apprentices in our new building. We have been producing many workshops and supporting playwrights all over the world in a really challenging time in this Twin Cities of ours. You have had no shortage of adventures, we'll call them, with us, and it's been really incredible to just see each of you step into who you are as artists and humans, and it's really beautiful and brave and thoughtful ways that just inspires me and makes me feel like I cannot wait to see just what your journeys continue to be, but not for a long time. You can't leave us for a long time. So, so here we are. Theater Begins Here. This is our podcast. And I also want to mention that our dear Max is producing this episode. So we are all live together in the same room. So this is also a new adventure.
There's no CGI or anything.
No.
We're all in the flesh.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so welcome.
Yeah. I feel like I'm also supposed to give you a love letter.
That was so beautiful.
That was so well read, and so I just want to say ditto.
Yeah.
You guys have been awesome, and everything that you've been doing in the background as well. But we're gonna go ahead and jump in. I do love you all. You've been doing great work. So why don't you tell us? Let's start here with Dorothy, and then we'll just kind of go down. How would you define yourself as an artist? I know that most of you are pretty hyphenated as you identify as artists, but how would you describe yourself?
For me as an artist and also as a writer, I tell stories and create art from the perspective of being Hmong and American in America. And what I really truly focus on a lot is about womanhood and young women and how they kind of break through the generational trauma that is put upon them, especially in a community like mine where I'm Hmong, and we are kind of known to have the difference between living the collective culture and also the individualistic culture. So that's kind of what my artwork really focuses on.
That was such a beautiful, polished answer. I'm going to have far less of one, primarily because a lot of my art focuses on breaking away from perfectionism. And I really strive to create really visceral, kind of messy, get under your skin art. I'm really inspired by rock concerts, and it's really impulsive and just kind of messy and in the moment. So I'm a playwright, I'm a researcher. I've been getting into lighting design, audio design. I edit. I do essentially what the moment calls for. So I kind of do anything.
Wonderful, and I have an even less polished answer. I feel like I'm still very much learning what it is specifically that draws me to theater and also film and also producing the podcast. But I feel like over the years I've seen myself evolve from actor to, I really enjoy being behind the camera. Filmmaking has been a large passion of mine. I think it's just because it's able to really just show people's inner worlds in a more visual way than I feel like my individual acting can. And so I feel like I see myself evolve towards stories that are more about empathy and inner mindsets and that kind of stuff. It's kind of vague, I know, but yeah, anyway, it's my stuff.
That's great. Yeah. Similarly, I'm also a playwright, like everyone here, also a writer. But I write stories centering teenagers. Also, shout out to the Writing Teens class that I've been so fortunate to be a part of. It's been a really great experience to get to be in a space where teenagers and teen characters are centered. But yeah, I'm really interested in teen characters and what power looks like for them, especially when there's no adults in the room. And yeah, I'm primarily a playwright, but I'm really interested in screenwriting as well. So all these folks have been a great resource for me. But yeah, just a storyteller. Yeah.
Well, we love that you are all coming to us with different interests, different ways in to the theater and to playwriting. Can you tell us about your journeys and like maybe, you know, what your journey was to get here and what you're still thinking about exploring while you're here with us at Playwright Center? And maybe we popcorn. Like, Max, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah.
I put you on the spot, but
I mean, I feel like kind of reiterating. I started out as an actor, growing up on the stage, and I really found a calling to that style of art. And then I've seen myself in the past, like 5-6 years. I want to say, like maybe around senior year of high school, I really started realizing I don't just enjoy watching movies or watching plays. I also enjoy writing them and also enjoy just the creative aspect of what it takes to as a collaborative effort. And I think I just see myself moving back from on the stage to more part of the creative team. I've really enjoyed that over the past couple of years. So I'd say that's my journey thus far, and more to come.
More to come's the exciting part.
Exactly.
I think my journey thus far, I mean, theater's always kind of been a part of my life. I know my parents were very big theater people, so I think like they played Andrew Lloyd Webber at their wedding. So I think like there was
you had no chance.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I definitely grew up doing like community theater and like all throughout school and everything. And then for me, I think theater has been a very like academic pursuit as well. And like I went to school for theater, and I think what's been exciting about being here and pursuing it outside of theater is understanding how many opportunities you can make for yourself. You know, it's not just about like, oh, we're doing this thing and also you can be in on it. It's about, you know, you can't just sit around and wait for someone to hand you something. You can also seek it out for yourself. And so I think it can be very empowering as well. And then taking that model of empowerment and applying it to other models of or other aspects of your life as well, I think is very cool. But yeah, I've started out on the more technical side of things. So I actually started out acting, and then moved to making like cosplay costumes for like comic conventions and that sort of thing. So then got involved in like tech and prop making that way, and then stage management, and then went to writing, and then went to dramaturgy, and then now I'm here, and then now I'm, you know, so I'm kind of doing it all. I don't know.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love that your parents are theater people.
Oh my God.
That makes so much sense.
Don't call me out like that. And you're right. You're so right.
Yeah. No, I didn't grow up with theater. My parents weren't theater goers or anything, but I got into musical theater in high school, and then I was really into writing. And in college, I took a playwriting class with Harrison David Rivers, who we all love, and just like an amazing instructor. And it really like made me pivot what I even wanted to like study. I was like, wait a minute, theater is something that I can go into. Like, it's a scary thing to go into, but it just became a possibility that I hadn't even considered that up to that point. And then arts admin, which I also love. Like, it's really cool to be an artist in arts admin, because you get to see so much of like what goes into supporting artists and like all the work that you know, I've gotten to work at Berkeley Rep as well, and so I got to see how they operated, and now I'm here and I get to see so much of the work that you all do and like be part of it. And so yeah, it's just been an experience of getting to be in different spaces and rooms and with different people, and like getting to see how they collaborate, how they work together, and you know what it means to do this work.
I would say I'm quite similar in Maria's path also. My family we never did the arts. I was expected to do business or medicine. So like, this is definitely not the path that I was going to take originally. When I was first introduced to theater or drama was when my parents divorced, and then I moved elementary school. And it was kind of like an arts focused elementary school. So that was when I was very first introduced to doing drama. At the time, I was still learning the language English. So I didn't understand what theater was, but I was performing and memorizing words that I didn't know what I was doing. So that was kind of like my first intro to theater. And then it wasn't until I started college, kind of right during COVID, that I like decided to switch my major, because I saw a musical production called Die Fledermaus. First production I ever saw in my university, and then I saw like the one Asian kid on stage where she just played the ensemble role, and that was like the first time that I could see myself on stage. Also because I was interested in film, and my university didn't offer anything in film, so I just decided to take a chance in theater. And then I saw the production, and then I was like, oh, okay, I can see myself on stage. I could actually do this as well. And so that's kind of when I shifted everything, and then just started taking theater classes, and then I just never stopped.
We saw you on stage recently in a Katie Calvin play.
Amazing play. But yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot that we do at the center in general. And there's a lot that you all do as apprentices. But if you were to kind of boil it down during the Too Long Didn't Read, what would you say you do here as an individual, knowing that you guys have your own individual projects, but then also as a collective as well?
I think it all comes down to this idea of support. Just kind of being there wherever we're needed, you know, and we support in a variety of ways. We support the educational programming here by sitting in on seminars and taking notes. We support in the workshops that take place here, again, by taking notes, but also, you know, getting here early and making coffee, or sitting around and, you know, maybe giving input or feedback when it's needed. And, you know, sometimes it's just about being there and supporting people during a hard time, and just being around the office and being a smiling face and saying like, hey, you know, I'm here with you. So for me, it kind of comes back to that idea of just being around and being here, and being here if people need us, and being flexible enough to see a gap and fill it.
I think that's also something that's so cool about this position, because I remember when I first applied for this apprenticeship, I immediately was like, this is so cool. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. and then I walk in, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm sorry to keep mentioning, I'm producing a podcast, which is like not what I thought I'd be doing when I first started this when I first found out back in, I want to say like May, May or June, that I had gotten the apprenticeship. And like on top, it's so cool how much freedom we have to develop ourselves as artists, while also not only the staff, but also all of the people we meet through workshops that are all just, everyone here is a professional. And I think it's really cool that I can just be in a room listening to a conversation and I'll get a little bit of insight or a lot of insight. And it's just a really cool, unique experience that I don't think many other internships and apprenticeships offer. And I'm super happy to be here.
We're happy you're here.
For me, I would say for this department, our pre-team, I lead the social media marketing project. And so a lot of what I do is I brainstorm a lot of ideas and posts and membership opportunities that we offer to our members. But also more so of what I do is storytelling, kind of behind the scenes. A lot of it is also meetings and taking a lot of notes. But a lot of it is storytelling of how we want to showcase to our members, especially since we interact with them a lot online, and how we want to showcase what we do here at the center. And then also working with these amazing folks. We do a lot of different things across departments as well, and help out with like events and also checking in with each other. But we also do stuff like outside of that as well, where we kind of like talk about our own projects and our plays and what do you think about my artist mission, and like what do you think about this play idea. So it's not just within the work that we do here, but we also kind of do other projects together as well outside of the center.
For sure. And then it's already been said, but we do a lot of script support, supporting playwrights and like the development of their scripts, both as like you've talked about stage managers and workshops, and also script club and all the other programming that we have around that. But I think like also one of my favorite memories of being an apprentice like thus far is having conversations about scripts with other apprentices or with Elena and Hannah, you know, like getting to talk about scripts and getting to be like, oh, I really enjoyed this part of the script, or this scene like really captured me, or, you know, or this part was really sad, like like the payoff was really there. So just having those conversations is always like a perk of the job.
Could you dig in a little bit of, not everyone knows what a workshop means and what that entails. Could you guys kind of especially knowing that all four of you, we gave a set of guidelines of like how to set up a room, but you all have your own vibes. You guys have your own perspectives. So what does it mean to be the stage manager in a workshop here?
I think it's kind of like, not in a negative way, but like intro to stage management, because I have zero stage management experience coming into this. Sorry, I'm a professional. I've been working for 25 years.
And I'm only 24.
Yeah. But it's really cool because, well, like originally, so yeah, it's like intro to stage management in that it's not as, a lot of things don't depend on you to write everything down. It's a very much a collaborative effort at all times. And if I have questions about, hey, like, what do I do here? Like, everyone's willing to help out. It's not like, but he's the stage manager, you know, like there is a really great learning experience that comes with these workshops. And also a lot of these don't end up actually like aren't actually performed in front of audiences, which I think adds or less pressure to the situation, which I think further adds to the learning experience of, I feel like I'm allowed to experiment and mess up at times and correct those mistakes. And so then later, when I'm a professional stage manager of 45 years, I will have more experience under my belt and know what to do. It's my ramble.
Yeah, it really varies. But the last workshop I was in, we had an orca whale puppet. So like part of my job was to get some recordings and pictures of the like actors interacting with the puppet and like, but yeah, I mean, I worked on a workshop where we had a language consultant, and like part of my job was recording her whenever she like pronounced words, and then, you know, putting that all in a file for actors to consult. So really it varies from workshop to workshop. I think a lot of the work we do is to, you know, make sure that the playwright gets whatever they need from that workshop. And sometimes it is, I'm taking notes, I'm like tracking the conversation, I'm making sure all that information is ready for you. And sometimes it is like we really want these visuals. We want the playwright and the actors or whoever to be able to consult these, and so like capturing stuff visually also. So like it's all over. But yeah, it like varies from workshop to workshop for sure.
Yeah, I would also say the same thing too. It does depend on the workshop. One of the workshop that I worked on, we didn't have a script at all. And so we had to figure out what the script was going to be. And so getting to work in just a big group of like artists, there was like 10 different actors and artists there with us. It was just me and the playwright. And so we just had a lot of conversations. And so it was just me kind of taking a lot of notes every single day. And so that process looks very different because we didn't have an actual story that we can base it off of. We were just now kind of beginning the process of like how to incorporate the stories and everybody else's experience and also what the playwright wanted. So a lot of it was just being very patient with everybody and then being organized as well, just because there's like different actors from different walks of like life and then also different experiences as well. So a lot of it was just focusing on what kind of the playwright want and then what the artist would bring in the room. So you never really know what's going to happen. You kind of just show up and then you just go along the way. So the workshop could vary, and also it depends. Sometimes the workshop you don't work with a script at all, and then sometimes you do work with a script. So
I think it's also one of the things that I really enjoy about the workshops that we do here at the Playwright Center is that the focus is on the playwright themselves and the story that they are trying to tell itself, rather than, you know, in a typical rehearsal process where the end goal is to put the story on its feet for an audience. The goal is more the execution of the story, you know, and thinking about acting beats or lighting cues or how's it gonna look, and we have to make sure it's pretty and versus this, you really get to dive more into the process of storytelling through the words themselves. And so I think it's really fun to dive into the deep kind of philosophical and dramaturgical discussions surrounding, you know, the play and the context and what it's bringing up for the actors in the room. And if we do have a dramaturg, and it's really cool to be a stage manager in the room and to help facilitate that.
I'll say, like, add one more, like talking about being in the room and just seeing people, just being like, I'm not necessarily a fly on the wall, but at the same time, it does feel like at times, like I'm just like watching like 12 professional, everyone in the room wants to be there, which I think is really cool. And with that, they all bring their own ideas to this brand new script that everyone besides the playwright's reading for the first time. And I think it's just such a cool collaborative environment to be a part of, because you see things birthed before your very eyes, and then the next day the playwright has written a brand new scene, and that ends up staying there for the rest of the show, and you're like, whoa, I was in the room when that happened. That's really cool.
And a handful of years from now, you're gonna see some of these plays on stages around the country, and you're gonna be like, I was in there when that play was made. So you've talked a little bit about, you know, the workshops, which are definitely a big part of the work that you all do here. You also talked about individual projects that you work on. If you were going to describe a day in the life, you know, how would you describe, you know, coming in? And by the way, I do want to mention to our listeners that we have an open office, and Elena and I get to be right next to the apprentice area. And these apprentices, it's not in their job descriptions, I promise, but they decorate this beautiful board so that it's sort of thematic for whatever the season or holidays that are coming up, and they always have candy. they brought us flowers for Boss's Day.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was such thing as a boss's day.
So I just, not to put any pressure on future apprentices, but
They've set the bar.
Yes.
And I would just like to say 55-60% that is Dorothy. To
Very
give
much.
credit where it's due.
I would like to add, I provide maybe 5% of the so
I mean, but I do
these
ask
three.
for ideas from the
This is true.
apprentices, and they do
This is
approve
true.
of it
This
before
is-
we do it. So it does become a group discussion, like outside of work through text.
Everyone's contributing
So,
to the
yeah,
group.
100%.
Yeah.
Everyone gets
100%.
the A.
I feel like my contribution is just I like candy, and then candy shows up. So I mean, I can't say I cannot take credit for anyway.
Well, and maybe to give credit to the hiring process, you've managed to create a group of people who genuinely like hanging out together. And I think the Playwright Center has a really solid group of people that work there. Like there is an open office, so we can see each other. And there is genuinely a vibe of like, oh, I get to go to work today and see the people and like get to hang out, and it's a pleasure to bring people candy. And I know like I bring people to cookies on their birthday and so, and it's like that's the fun part. I don't know, and so a day in the life is we go into the office, we sit around our table, we giggle together, and then we go home. But in the middle of all that, we're doing we've done data entry projects. We post a lot of the opportunities that are available for members on our website.
Post all of the opportunities.
We post all of the opportunities.
Not a lot. You post all of them.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take the credit for that.
Yes,
And so it's a lot of, scouring the boards on the internet for that. But I think one of the things I really appreciate about this apprenticeship is there is the room to create our own projects, and there is room for us to say like, hey, I'm interested in this, can I explore it more? So I'm doing some education projects, helping to support that more. I've gotten to do project proposals for more fun little things for our website, and it can truly, like, it sounds so hokey, but it can truly kind of be whatever you want it to be, as well as the things that are built into it that are the perks of the job, like supporting workshops and helping out with script club. And we came into it knowing that we'd be helping with like the social media marketing and that sort of thing. So that's kind of a day in the life. There's a lot of candy and cookies and giggling, and we have playlists, and we support the front desk, and we put on ambiance videos of like fireplaces and bookstores and stuff.
It's really a horrible place.
Yeah. And then we go into the basement and have our toenails ripped out.
Forgot to mention that part.
Right.
You covered it all.
Yeah, sorry.
A lot of what we also do is go to meetings every week that we go
Oh, yeah.
together. Some of the meetings we're not always included. Like a lot of our marketing meetings is not like a majority of y'all are not in it. And then every time when I come out, we were like, did we miss a meeting? Like, what is your meeting about? And so we get to really kind of do our own thing, but also share that with everybody else as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then get like their insights as well of like, what should I do? And there's like so much creativity that goes into every work that we kind of do and every project that we do. So it's very different, but in a way we get to kind of collaborate together and then like share ideas together and then hang out together. And we always go get coffee together. So
Yes.
y'all trying to go after this?
Yeah, 100%.
No, I'm like, what else is there?
Workhorse.
Workhorse, yeah.
Sponsored by us.
That's next.
Yeah.
Dorothy will reach out to WordCap.
Yeah. We'll do a proposal. We'll do a whole thing. Send them a flyer.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you guys are talking, I'm realizing that because the apprenticeship can turn into kind of a choose your own adventure, um, it's that is really hard to put on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing, you guys have mentioned that you weren't expecting to do that when you walked in the door. So I'm wondering what drew you to this apprenticeship and how did you hear about it, knowing that you did not know any of the stuff that you know now?
Well, I think Playwright Center has been connected to Augsburg, where I just graduated from back in May, and shout out. That's right. But I think because of just how much I've heard about how great the Playwright Center is, I've taken a few classes through the Playwright Center, and kind of like what we've touched upon, just I knew how warm the environment was, along with the fact that while I do really love filmmaking, theater is still very much a passion of mine. I still do act, I still do all those things, and just I've always gravitated toward theater spaces, I feel like, and just that was something that one of my professors was like, hey, they open up their submissions, and I'm like, wow, like to be able to work in an environment of professional, like-minded people is a dream, especially coming out of college, like in the arts, like having a place a land right out of college. I'm extremely grateful. Again, I'm happy I'm here.
Yeah, I just had heard so many great things about this apprenticeship. I went to school with Asher DeForest, who was a former apprentice. So I was like, Asher, what was your experience? You only had good things to say. And I was like, okay, let me apply. But yeah, I feel like sometimes it's a lot of word of mouth. And just hearing from like collaborators and hearing from friends that they had a great experience, I think is like the highest like honor for any sort of internship or apprenticeship. So yeah, thank you, Asher.
For me, my director at my university, I went to Concordia University, St. Paul, shout out to them. My director at that time and professor, Mark Rosenwinkel, he was actually a Jerome Fellow here. So I've always known about it when I was in school. And so that when an opportunity came, I was like, okay, let me just sign up for this opportunity. But also at the same time, I was in the Six Pack production with Kate Calvin, who was affiliated right here. And she was like, yes, do it. It's an amazing opportunity. Not only that, but I was really interested in the process of how the play writing works and how all of that writing happens. So I was like, yes, this is the great opportunity for me. But I first saw this opportunity when I was scrolling on Instagram, and then I saw the apprenticeship post, and I was like, this is the one. So that's how I saw it first.
Heck yeah. So I went to grad school over in the UK. I went to the University of Glasgow, and there's a really great organization over there called Playwright Studio, which, as you might be able to tell, is very similar to what we do over here. And so when I moved back, I was searching for a similar organization, and I went, wait, there's one in my hometown? That's crazy. And I think as well, when we think of American theater, there's kind of a sense of what like New York theater is or what Chicago theater is, but I didn't really feel like I had an understanding of what theater in the Twin Cities was. And so I think I was seeking further understanding of that and thought this would be a really great way to gain insight into that by, meeting local artists and just getting to hang out and explore what's going on here. So, yeah.
So what have you discovered that this apprenticeship has done for you individually as an artist, or that you're exploring, or that you feel like you're going to get an opportunity to learn about yourselves individually?
I think something that I've really learned about myself is having more patience. For me, one of my weaknesses is I'm a perfectionist, and I think when I'm in workshop or when I'm leading such a big project like our marketing project, you never know what is going to happen. And sometimes I'm like 10 steps ahead about a post, and I know that it's going to take us a while to get there. So I needed to have a lot more patience with myself and also with my planning of like how that will look like. Not that we can't get there, but we will. It's just going to take us some more time in between. And also in workshop as well, where you never really know how a workshop is going to go. And so it could be a good or a bad thing. I mean, you never really know. So just a lot of it was just having patience. And this apprenticeship actually gave me a lot of confidence to be able to lead a project, to speak up, especially when working with so many amazing artists that they do look at us because we're also the stage manager, but we do have to lead the room as well. And so a lot of it is just building confidence and having the confidence to be able to speak up and say stuff and share our own ideas as well. And then also in meeting rooms as well to kind of share ideas with others and like lead on the project, and to not be afraid to say I disagree with that project, but yes, I will give it a try. Yes.
Staying open. We're a place of curiosity.
Process.
So process based for development. So curiosity is really important.
Curious. That's a curious thing you're proposing.
Well, I'll second that. I do think I've seen my personal ability to lead a room increase just in the few months I've been here, and I think that is obviously a skill that is very important down the line. And I also think because of how just open this apprenticeship is to all the different projects we can pursue, all the people we work with, I think it really it hones in on what I like and what I don't like. And another thing that I think is very important to start knowing early in my career, so that way I don't sign up for something I don't want to do in the future. And I think it's just a great playground for all the possibilities that I can choose as an artist.
For sure. I feel like I've also been able to hone who I am as an artist a bit more. I have a better sense of like my elevator pitch, which like sounds silly, but like it's very important to have that in your back pocket, right? And so like I just feel like I'm also just a better collaborator. I have a better sense of like how to support artists, but also like as a writer, what I'm asking of others and what that requires, which I think is really important. And then also because of the script club work that we do, I have a better sense of like feedback and what is helpful and what might not be as helpful, or like, let me rephrase that. Maybe like, I feel like I've gotten a better grasp of how to give feedback in a way that's helpful to a writer. So yeah, I hope I might be biased, but like, I really do think that I've grown as a collaborator and as an artist through this process.
I think this apprenticeship has been very helpful in doing a lot of like myth busting and maybe some preconceptions I've had about the theater industry. Most prominently, like this idea that there's one way to be a successful artist, or like there's one way to make a living being an artist, or there's even one way to define success. And I think by getting to know so many people that have, you know, their artistic practice as a part of their lives and see how they each do it so differently, but so wholly their own way, has been really, really encouraging to see. And knowing that, you know, you might not win any awards, you might not make it to Broadway, you might not make it to off-Broadway, you might not, you know, do anything more than community theater, but you're still an artist, you know. As long as you get up and write a play, you're still a playwright, you know. And I think, again, like we were just talking about, it's about the process, not the product. And I think absorbing that philosophy into more of my mindset and more of my work is an ongoing process, but I can only see it being a positive one.
I think also just seeing the professionals that we've all looked up to in rough draft mode.
Yes.
I think is also a really cool reminder of like, wow, like the way I feel right now is how that professional who has done things at this theater and done that thing, even they have bad days, bad writing days, or something doesn't quite stick with the actors. Like that's a normal part of the process, and just seeing these people who we think are perfect and see that they are just as human as all of us, I think is a really cool reminder.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing the end product that we're not used to seeing all of the blood, sweat, and tears it took to get there.
Right.
I mean, I think even during auditions, we got to like
Yeah.
be in auditions room and get to be behind the table and kind of get to see people perform. And so as a performer myself, it was great to kind of like see the different takes of like how people approach auditions and seeing all the amazing artists that you look up to and seeing their process of like, oh, this is, people do struggle. Like it's not always perfect. And so just like looking at their process and then getting to work with them also in workshop, it's just been like kind of like a life-changing experience, but also like a different point of view where now I'm approaching auditions way completely different than before. And now I'm like, I don't need to be so stressed out or overworked about certain things when I can just go in and read it. And so that like really just helped build more confidence. And then,
And I think too, sorry, we've gone rogue now. Being on the other side of, you know, the table, so to speak, like when it comes to auditions or when it comes to, you know, processing applications or stuff, like when you're the one applying to things, it's so easy to see organizations as like a monolith, you know, and forget that they're actually made up of people who are, you know, like doing all of the work to make sure that you're getting the opportunities that you're applying for. And so it's been a great reminder too that at the end of the day, organizations are people.
Yeah.
Not in the weird governmental way, but like in a, you know, at the end of the day, we're all people kind of way.
Yeah. I know that this is the hardest part to talk about.
Oh no.
But at some point,
Oh no.
this apprenticeship is going to end.
No.
What?
I know. So I'm wondering, what are you guys kind of hoping for or dreaming about as your next step? Or what do you feel like you're prepared to do as your next step?
I think for me, this apprenticeship has given me so many skills. And for the past year, I've worked on a lot of theater and just been focusing on a lot of theater projects that I think the next step for me that I see myself doing is doing something outside of theater. I think I need to find a life outside of theater because it is a healthy way for me to also kind of process everything. But I have so many other skills outside of theater that I don't think that I get to explore that just yet. And so I think either soon or after the apprenticeship, I hope to kind of do something completely different outside of theater. I will still continue on doing theater because I love doing it. But just doing other different type of art mediums is kind of where I'm leaning towards into, and more specifically culinary arts. So that's something that I want to explore and I still want to learn. But I do think that it's important for me to kind of have a life outside of theater because right now I'm kind of like in between struggling of not like knowing when to have a life outside of theater and if it's okay, or like just a lot of like doing theater all the time. And so I think I need to take a break at some point.
I'll also, just not to interrupt the flow, but to say that I think that theater prepares all of the people who do it with these skills that you often can't learn in other places that are so amazing in every other kind of job you would go to. If I didn't work in the theater and I knew somebody was coming from the theater, I think I would want to hire them just based on the kinds of skills that one builds in the theater. So I'm excited for whoever gets to work with you next.
And I'm excited to eat whatever you're gonna make.
I feel like I've gravitated because on top of this apprenticeship, I also work as a front of house supervisor in another theater, and I think it's made me realize, kind of, we went back on just how I've learned more about leadership in the past several months. I think, given that I'm still fresh out of college and I'm having these opportunities of leadership, which is still a very surreal experience, but I do enjoy that aspect of theater, being able to run the front of house. And I don't know if front of house is necessarily my path, but I definitely enjoy theatrical management of some sort, whatever that might be. We'll see.
For sure. I definitely want to continue in arts administration. I think my big question now is, I'm originally from Illinois, so I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to stay in the Twin Cities or if I'm going to go back home. And I've been putting it off, but like at some point I do have to make that choice. But I don't know, I really love it here. And, you know, it felt like a homecoming of some sort to be back. I went to school here. And so, yeah, I think that's the big question for me right now. It's where do I go from here geographically?
That's real. Yeah, this is such a great question, and it's so scary to think about. I think I definitely want to continue to explore storytelling. I'm not necessarily tied to theater as a medium. I also work for the Historical Society, and I really love working in museums, specifically with how community oriented it is. And with everything going on in the Twin Cities and Minnesota at large right now, community has been so important. So I think I would really love to work more in a more community centered way, which I think which I think theater is, but I think especially recently, theater hasn't been the most accessible, especially to communities that could benefit from it the most. And so I'm curious to explore, you know, storytelling through museums or through books, or I'm a huge music fan, music junkie. And so even like history of music would be super cool to explore. I love podcasts, so I've thought about, you know, making one of those, which is exactly what the world needs, is another podcast. But I don't know, like I think long story short, I want to make something that people are gonna see, and hopefully something that makes life easier for other people.
Well, we are very happy that the journey with you all is not even nearly over. So, you know, buckle in. So in the meantime, would you share with us any of your art crushes? And these don't have to be theater crushes, although they can, and you might even have recent crushes from people you've worked with. But yes, share with us your art crushes.
I think my top two, I mean, you know, my top number one has always remained Katie Coving. I'm not just saying this because I was in her 6-pack production. I've actually followed her work way before being in her production. But what I really truly admire about her is just her willingness to kind of speak about the ugliness in our community and to really put women on stage was so important to me. And then getting to play a character who was Hmong and who had the same last name as me was just absolutely amazing and like life-changing, because I never really thought that I was able to do that on stage, or that I was allowed to have that space. And so being able to do that on space, and like not on stage and not having to like explain anything about myself or my culture. I mean, we had amazing rehearsals where we could just speak in Hmong, or we just ate Hmong food. And so like I didn't really need to explain why I was eating this type of food, or like the language that I was speaking, or why I was wearing my cultural bracelets. Like everything, I just felt like it felt like home. That was the biggest thing for me. And so getting to work with her project was absolutely amazing. But what I really like about Katie's writing, though, is that she puts a lot of trauma in her writing without saying it. And then as an actor, being able to perform it was very difficult, but it was also very fun as well, because you're able to kind of show your emotions on your face without really saying anything at all, and to just let that moment land on stage with the audiences as well, and also as an actor. So that was super, super cool. So she's like my top number one, which y'all already pretty much know about that. And then my second one I would say is Harold Pinter. I'm obsessed with his Pinter pauses. As a writer, it is absolutely amazing to kind of read that on paper, but as a performer, it is even more cool to kind of perform that and then to really let those moments land. And I think that he like does that very beautifully done in his writing. But also that's something that I myself as a writer didn't think was possible on paper until I read it and I was like, oh, this is possible. But for me, what I really do is I do the complete opposite of him, where I break the fourth wall because I'm obsessed with talking to the audience. So yeah, I would say those are my top two.
So
Love
why-
those.
I was like, wait, do I know who Peter is? Wait a second. Is this the same?
And Katie Cott is also featured on Theater Begins Here. So if you want to listen to a new episode after this one, check that one out.
Always stay plugging.
I know.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless.
I also feel like I have two. One is Elon Leo. I was thinking about like because when that question came up, I'm like I don't know, but I remember specifically reading his script because I was one of the stage managers for his play Stupid Little Fire during the Play Labs festival here a few months ago, and I remember just reading it and just being like, this is one of the I need to see this live. Like I need to see this because it's one of the most visually stunning, yet I couldn't visually see it because it's workshop, but I wanted to see how it could be done, and I thought the story was moving, hilarious, meta as all meta, and I love meta work, and so I think that his work was one that really spoke to me when I worked with it and also read it. And then also, he and I are also coordinating back and forth briefly on some screenplay stuff because we had talked about how he's looking to get into that kind of thing. So I think we're keeping in touch, and that's really cool.
That's awesome.
And then this one's Denis Villeneuve, the director who did Dune, and I just recently saw Arrival for the first time, and I love sci-fi. I love psychological anything, and I think his storytelling, directorial style, cinematography, Dune 2 is one of my favorite films on the planet, and it came out recently, and I can say with my heart it's one of my favorites, and yeah, anything he touches directorially is just gold, and so those are my two art crushes.
Love it.
Yeah, I can go next.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give some love to my Chicago folks.
Do it.
I have one is not even like a specific person; it's a group that just started. It's the Latina Playwrights Collective. It's just like this group started by Estefania and Elena Avila over in Chicago. And I was able to join for their first meeting because it was virtual. And it was just such a like supportive group. And it was like meeting new people, but also like seeing so many familiar faces. And they already have like a living room series in the works. And just like, I just love when people take the initiative to create these spaces and to create these communities. And so, yes, lots of love to the Latina Playwrights Collective.
Sweet.
Heck yeah. Oh man, I came up with a list and y'all are coming out here with like one or two. Okay, let's see. David Lynch is top of mind. I'm a big fan of anyone who's like, here's a weird thing and I'm not gonna explain it. Plus I just love very like aesthetic, like beautifully shot, like saturated colors, and like the way that everything is so well integrated with each other. The costume design, the score, the music, the script, and again how unafraid he is to jump in. Big fan. Let's see here. Ryan Coogler, big fan. I've been thinking about Sinners every day since it came out. And the amount of research he does and like the amount of consultants he brings in, I find really inspiring, and it's something I try to do in my own work. The Replacements, big fan. They've gotten me through a lot. I recently came out with an essay about them. And I love how scrappy they are and how unapologetically awful they are, while also being incredible. And just I have to think of a theater person, don't I? I got the privilege of working with Snam de Cellier. How do they?
I think Cellier.
Yeah. Who previous apprentice here and also Twin Cities theater maker. And one, they're just brilliant. And like the way that they think is so masterful, and they, like me, they kind of do anything. You know, I worked with them as a stage manager, but I know they also do lighting. But I think the reason I'm listing them as an art crush is the warmth and the positivity that they brought to a room, and how welcoming they were. And they were just such a lovely person to work with in a way that I also want to embody. So, yeah.
They're wonderful art questions. I'm inspired. I love it.
Well, it's that time.
Oh, no.
Elena gets to ask her favorite question.
So today, and we know that this ebbs and flows, so it doesn't have to relate to our conversation today. It can be anything. Where does theater begin for you?
Give us a moment.
For me, I think theater begins with vibes. And do I get to elaborate, or do I just get to give you a word?
There's 4 of you, so mine's gonna be like tangly. So
incredible.
You go for it.
Incredible. Yeah, theater begins with vibes, whether that is the welcoming vibe that you create in a collaborative room, or whether that's you jolting out of bed in the middle of the night and going, I want to create a play that has the vibe of the color green. It could be anything.
Love it.
Okay, I've been thinking a lot about Liv's parents.
They will be thrilled to know that.
You heard it here, folks.
I'll let them know.
Musical theater begins. Sorry, did I say musical
You
theater?
did. That's okay.
Not here.
Not here. It does not start here.
I mean, sometimes
it does.
It can.
Yeah.
Theater begins with musical theater at weddings, and also I just want to normalize musical theater songs. Like, I just want people to start adding them to their gym playlists if they haven't already. You know, like to our work playlist. I don't think we have any musical theater.
We can.
We definitely should.
We definitely should.
You can pull from the archives.
There we go.
I think for me, theater can begin anywhere. And I say that because I started off first as a performer. And for me, a lot of what actors do is actually just reading and plays and their sides and the scripts, and then recording themselves and showing up to auditions. So a lot of it, for me, I would say it could start anywhere. There isn't a right or wrong path to choose or to begin with. And that a lot of it does also happen behind the scenes and not always in front and on the stage.
I think this is specifically Playwright Center. Theater begins with a cup of coffee, because I think, I want to say, 80% of people here are heavy coffee drinkers, myself included. And so I think that is our lifeblood. I think the amount of coffee I see is inspiring.
Inspiring or problematic.
Inspiring. We won't dive further.
I won't take too long in this story, obviously, because we're at the end, but I had been 10 years off of coffee and any caffeine when I took the job here. And at the time, there were 2 coffee shops, one on each basically corner of where the Playwright Center before we moved over here. And I went over there a couple of weeks into my time here, and with Haley Finn, who was our associate artistic director. And it smelled so good. And I was like, I'll just instead of like getting a drip coffee, I got an Americano. It was so delicious, and I've never gone back. So I think the vibes of the Playwright Center are also coffee. Theater begins with coffee.
The vibes are caffeinated.
This is how we start our workhorse sponsorship.
Exactly.
So for me today, theater begins with something that one of you said, which is that with the opportunities that you make for yourselves. And you all found us, and you have told us all in this conversation about the ways that you've made this apprenticeship your own and the opportunities that have come out of it. We've created a space, and you've turned it into what it is in all of your bodies and experiences and interactions and collaborations. And so I really appreciate what you all are doing with us here.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and read my notes. Usually I have Post-its, but now I have to do notes. Theater begins when you're invited into a creative, collaborative collective where individually you get to choose your own adventure, to find what you do and don't want, and myth bust, while also stepping into the unknown together to grow into artistic leaders that you want to see in the world.
That's beautiful.
I got chills.
I
really did.
That's so beautiful.
We really do believe that you all are very brilliant and you're going to do really amazing things in your next step. We just hope that you remember us.
We'll bring you back
Yeah.
all the time. As you've noticed, all
Yeah.
of these apprentices keep showing up later. You're part of the family forever. So thank you, Max, for producing this. We are very excited. May it be the first of many podcasts in your future. And yeah, what are we doing today, everybody?
Going to work for us. Yeah. Caffeinated.